one. Hey everyone, it's October 17th. It's the 4th episode of Pre-K to Mastery. We've got our lovely panel. We've got Kelly Duncan-Smith. We've got Tracy Gagne. We've got Hank Bertodatto, and we have a big crowd today. And today's crowd is going to be going over broker opens. And I think Hank Bertodatto's got a few things to say about this. Hank, we want to talk about the purpose of broker opens. If you could kick us off there and give us a little bit of the purpose, that would be great.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those who are just tuning in and maybe haven't seen the other episodes, the first couple episodes that we did were actually on open houses. And we had some great information in them, a lot of gold nuggets, so to speak, in those sessions. So please catch them. They're all recorded. They're put on our Facebook page. They're put on our YouTube channel. So I definitely recommend that you check those out for sure. But yeah, I think this is a great segue into Brokers Opens and the purpose of why we do them. So there are a couple different facets, at least for my business and my team, on why we do Brokers Opens. And one of the biggest reasons we do them is to, number one, create excitement about the property that just got listed. Number two, I believe, is to gain some feedback from the local agents in the area onto price, amenities, would you do any updates in it, so on and so forth. I think that's a big one as well. Okay. And then the third thing is just exposure to the market, because Brokers Opens are not just for agents. I've had buyers walk into my Brokers Opens when we're doing them in the evening time. So that's, I know we're going to dive into details here on them, but that's pretty much my take on why we're doing Brokers Opens here in Florida. And to be honest with you, we've actually had a very high success rate with them. And the different ways that we market them, and we're going to chat about that. But we've had 150 people at a Brokers Open in a 2-hour time frame. So, and believe me, we've counted them. So there's been a lot of attraction down here in Florida to them. And let's be honest, realtors love free food and free booze. So if you can host a Brokers Open, and we're going to talk about that too, the setup and what you have there and what you spend, but that's a really good kind of overview of what, we can kind of cover today, the different aspects of Brokers Opens, the do's, the don'ts, the things that work, the things that don't work, because I know we've got some people on this panel that have some different thoughts on Brokers Opens, and that's perfectly fine. And we're going to chat about that. So yeah, Kevin, that's pretty much the good lead in there.
All right. So we've got a purpose, and when you have a purpose, you got to figure out how to market that. And Tracy Gagne happens to be an excellent marketer. It's something of a position of strength. Tracy, if you think about Broker Opens and you were marketing this, what kind of take do you sort of push that message out there? What's the best way to go about that?
To market Brokers Opens, the thought is the exposure has to be consistent, right? Mm-hmm. So we have our social media platforms that we adhere to. We have 29 that we're personally on. Locally, social media sites. That doesn't include not the Twitter, but Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. Those are just literally Facebook pages that we're on. So our exposure goes 29 deep in just that level. And then of course we have the MLS to advertise on, and we have the ability to text all of the agents that we know locally to invite people to their open houses, or to invite buyers to the open houses too. So the marketing is basically the same as we would do for an open house. We just would change it from buyer-based to agent-based.
Understood. Okay, so you're just kind of shifting the category, but it's the same type of market. You want to have that reach, that breadth, and using social media to your advantage is certainly very key. Kelly, I want to use your words carefully today. We know that we've had the golden throat is in check, as they say. So we'd like to use it carefully. Do you have anything you'd like to add as far as how you go about marketing a Broker Open?
No, everything that Tracy said, with the exception that, again, use the signs. You can put signs out 2 days before on every street corner, 10, 12 signs leading to that open house or that Broker's Open House. And that puts your name on every street corner in town for 48 hours before a function. So it's just double exposure.
I don't think there's an earthquake in Palm Beach or the area. I know that you might be using handhelds. We'll keep it very careful. We don't want you to have to move and shake. Otherwise, people are going to worry about the Richter scale. So we're going to move back to our invitee list, Hank. And so when we think about this, a broker's open, it's got to be a strategic list of who you invite. It might be a land grab. We just want to hear your experience with that. Who do you put on this guest list, this esteemed guest list for broker opens?
Yeah, absolutely. So for me and our team, we just don't invite everyone to these. We really want the agents that are out there. And in Florida, for those who know or don't know our market, we have a ton of part-time agents out there, and they, disguise themselves as experts, and they really don't know the market or the home. They're just there for the free food and booze. So we are actually really strategic.
So true.
No, it is absolutely true. And we really don't get positive feedback that we're looking for our seller with those kind of agents. Now, of course, they're going to show up. Look, I'm not not going to invite them. But at the same time, we really are looking at lists of agents that are doing the volume in the area that we admire, that we know, and we actually take their opinions into account. So we value that. So not only are we going to email them, but we are actually going to do the personal touch. So we're going to call them. We're going to text them. We're going to stop by their office. We're going to drop off a flyer to make sure that they're showing up. And we're just saying, hey, look, we got this hot new listing. I really value your opinion. Can you please just stop by, even if it's for 15 minutes? Okay, I've got a beer for you. I got a wine for you. Pop your head in, take a look around. Let me know your thoughts on the price here. Is the seller out of whack, or are we in line? Do you have anything coming up that might be comparable? And we just really kind of mastermind it back and forth on this. And it works out well. So the personal relationship, the personal invite to the agents that you kind of value their opinion on, I think is very key. So that's kind of how the invitee list goes. And then obviously we keep that list for future brokers opens. And those are the first people that we invite for the next one and the next one and the next one. And we keep them going. And to be honest, knock on wood, we have not had like an unsuccessful brokers open. We've always had at least 25 people there. It's always, really good turnouts for these. So, but yeah, that invite list is important, and you want people, realtors' opinions in there that matter and that you can take to the seller and give that positive feedback.
Makes sense. So, it's strategic how you invite people, and then it's retention. And it's what goes to what we always say about real estate, right? You got to follow up. You got to make sure you're there. You put the personal touch. It's genuine. And then they start to understand your brand. If you're having these broker opens and successful, there's good retention, but there's also good attendance. They also realize they look forward to it besides what you're going to offer. So you bring up a good point in a couple of things during the purpose, the marketing, and the invitee list. It's the beer, it's the wine, it's the food. It goes into our resources section. What is a strategic spend when you have a broker's open? So, when we think about that, you want to make sure that you're being mindful of your resources. Hank, I'd go back to you since you've had quite a bit of experience and some success. Is it just putting out a plate of cookies, or how do you feel is the best way to go about this with the resources?
A plate of cookies? No one will show up for a plate of cookies. I'm going to tell you right now. You got to have the booze. You got to have the catering. Actually, what works well down here, and I don't know about other markets, and Kelly and Tracy, you can kind of maybe chime in on this, but we actually use our vendors, our affiliates, for these broker opens. And we will partner. We actually call them partners. We don't really get into like vendors or affiliates. We call them our partners because we're partnering with them. So we'll bring them in on these. And I've got actually certain vendors or partners, or I guess whatever, we'll just stick with partners, that we use, title company, mortgage company, insurance company, that are like on our regular list, that we will call them first and say, hey, we're doing this broker's open. Here's the spot. And a lot of them will be like, okay, well, what's the property? Because they want the exposure too, but they want to make sure it's going to be a good home. It's going to have some good traffic. So we give them the address, maybe shoot them over, the MLS listing, and get it. And I've got one guy who's like, yeah, dude, I'll do them every single time. And he will be in charge of the booze. So he takes care of the booze, and then we've got, maybe another partner, and they'll take care of the food, and then maybe another partner, and they'll take care of the marketing flyers, whatever it may be. So I strategically know who is going to provide the drinks, who's going to provide the non-alcoholic drinks as well, because we have someone that'll bring in the Coke, the Diet Coke, the water, iced teas down here are big, Arnold Palmer's, things like that. So you always got to have all of that. But on a typical spend for an agent, to be honest with you, I haven't spent $1 in a couple years on a broker's open. I just haven't. I've used my partner strategically to where they're spending the money and getting their name out there. And they love it too, because it's a chance for them to market and show the agents what they can do. And usually we give them 5 minutes at the broker's open. But in that 5 minutes, I always tell my partners, you have to give them a golden nugget of value. You just have to. Like, we have so many mortgage companies here. We have so many title companies here. We have so many insurance agents here, that what separates you from everyone else. And that's what the agents crave when here, because otherwise, they're just not interested. They don't want to come, or they just kind of dip out, or whatever it may be. So they got to bring something of value. And strategically, I just have it to where they're paying for the actual cost of running the brokers open. The only cost I may have would be in the marketing, like in Facebook ads or campaigns. Sometimes I will take that on, and usually I don't spend more than probably $150 to $200 on that, 5 days leading up to that event.
Okay, so that's obviously that's great, and bringing in partners. So I would go up to Tracy and say, just in general with the open house process and the broker opens that you've experienced, is it, and we're here in Florida, so I imagine this is not just a regional thing. Are you able to bring in partners that also feel like this is a great use of their resources, so that they have that exposure to give them a unique angle to, the people in the community that they deal with on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, we do that for open houses. We partner with our attorneys and with our lenders. So they will be responsible for a lot of the marketing, co-marketing actually, so that we were getting double the exposure. That's something we do very regularly.
Okay, makes total sense. And Kel, I know we're calling on you. Is there anything that, you've always, when we talk about open houses, I know you have a gift for personal touch, and so I would just ask you, even if the broker opens, when you pull in partners, and we've kind of talked about how the resources, is there anything that you do especially sort of to create that connection between the people you want to have continuing relationships with on the broker opens?
Yeah, in our area, we do use the vendors, and like we'll also do gift cards. So there's a raffle. So, I can pull into Subway, or I can go 2 extra miles and go to Kelly's, and there's a $50 gift card on the table. That's gonna be the deciding factor. Another thing, like one of the mortgage lenders in our area, her name is Mary Quisnell. She's fabulous for giving out tokens and gifts. Like, we had one not long ago where she gave out little hammers that had a flashlight and a screwdriver, but it was like a realtor's gift, like a realtor's safety. It just had all kinds of little things in it for real estate agents, like the hammer, the flashlight, the screwdriver. There was I think it had a corkscrew on it. It was a survival kit, and she handed those out to everybody that came and said, your tool to success. So it's great marketing for her. And then that's a tool that everybody's going to keep in their car, because you're going to use it again. So it's just, and they're going to rethink of you. They're going to rethink of the property. They're going to rethink of that mortgage lender. So all those little gifts and gift cards and raffles and stuff, I think, are also an added bonus.
Perfect. So, I would just think this is a nice segue to the people that are on. If there's anybody that kind of has a unique touch to their open house process or broker opens, we'd love to hear it. If there's anything that we did not cover as far as, I think that's what we're looking at here. This is an interactive, this is a fun participatory type Zoom call that we're using for Pre-K to Mastery. So we love your input. If anybody has something that they would like to add, and Tracy, I see your hand up. Tracy, we can go right back to you.
We actually, at all of our open houses, we do a raffle. Last year we raffled off a trip to Palm Beach, Florida. It was actually won by a single mother. It was actually won by a vet who couldn't go because his grandma died, so he had to go to New Orleans for services. So he gave it to his assistant, who was a single mom, never been on a plane, and her kids were both foster children. So she was able to bring her foster kids to Florida for the first time ever. It's the first time they ever saw the ocean. So, the exposure that we gained from doing that and by giving back that way, right now we're currently giving away 3 different local restaurants, not chain, local restaurants who've contributed gift cards to our raffle. And that's a really good way for them to get exposure locally, for us to be able to promote it. And the combination of, again, partnership and really growing that community is a big deal for me.
Absolutely.
And it's $150 value. So it's really, and there are places that are sought after. So when you're at an open house or you're somewhere and you're seeing $150 worth of value of 3 places that you want to go to, you're going.
We are all the same, and we all like free stuff. I think that's
especially free food, like
free
high
stuff
quality
works.
food. We all just gravitate towards it.
Something about free stuff, it's just it's a universal feeling. So that's great. You think about it, that's really bringing partners into the mix, and that also gets your community excited about it and say, look, it's just a little differentiated, and it also creates that retention. If you're consistent with that, they look forward to the Tracy Gagne Broker Open or the Tracy Gagne Open House. So those are the fun things that you can do. So, if anybody else who's viewing today has a thought as far as that they use to differentiate themselves in their broker open process or open house, we'd love to hear from you. So I will pause for a few seconds. Very hard for me to do.
Actually, I'd like to call out Dan Bertodatto. We were talking in the opening about how he builds excitement and anticipation for a new property that comes on the market, and I thought he had a great approach. So, Dan, if you're up to it, I'll throw you on. Let me unmute. Nope. You're already unmuted. Go ahead, buddy.
No pressure, Dan. There's millions of people watching.
We're all I can handle it, I think. But
right here.
Excuse me. What we have done, and in fact, talking to Tracy, she does the same thing, is when we've been listing properties, we'll list it and we don't allow any showings from anybody in the MLS until a certain time frame, let's say a Saturday or a Sunday open house. And you build up a lot of anticipation, a lot of pent up, demand for showings. And we put the signs out in advance, just like you heard already. And when that happens, we did one in Lisbon like that. It literally was Grand Central Station. I mean, agents that showed up with their customers, with their clients, they were saying, oh my gosh, how did you get so many people here? They were astounded at the amount of people. We had 3 team members there at different parts of the house for security. And it was just like nonstop people. Most of those people were looky looks. You could tell I'm Italian, I moved my hand, but it's they were looky looks, but they were real people there. And so what happens for the people that sincerely were interested, fear of loss sets in. And because of that fear of loss, we started getting bids, offers started coming in, 3 people bidding against each other, and went for $15,000 more than asking price. So that's the kind of thing that can work. And I know Tracy was saying the same type of a thing. It just that's how you do it. In the old days, you just put a sign up, from 1 to 2, 1 to 3 on Sunday, and that was it. But now this really makes a difference.
Creating the urgency is a big deal. Mm-hmm. Creating the urgency. And again, it also makes it easier for your sellers because they're not getting that request. If you come on the market on a Tuesday, they're not getting the request for Wednesday at 10, Wednesday at 3, Thursday at 2, Thursday at 6. They're not getting the dogs and the kids and keeping it clean. So I tell my clients, look, you guys can live your life for the next week. Sunday morning, it's game on. You clean all night on Saturday, you prep the house, they'll leave Sunday morning, and that's when we come in, and that's when we really have the bulk of the buyers who are serious buyers coming through that house. The people that are there are typically serious. We had 2 open houses this weekend with 30 people plus through each.
Wow.
Now, again, those are serious buyers. That could have been 30 times that property would have been requested to be shown. You know how inconvenient that is for your sellers? You know what that does to their stress level? So by doing it this way, you kind of bring it down for them. You kind of get that all out of the way. And then the next ones that are coming through either for a second showing or it is, somebody who wasn't able to make it. But those 30 individual showings go down to maybe 10 the next week. So again, it makes it a much easier process for your sellers.
Makes total sense. You know, creating sense of urgency across any business for success. You know, we all know we rush the door when we can't have it. It's a herd mentality. So when you know that something's in demand and everybody wants it and you can't get it, that's when people usually react. It seems to be a pretty interesting human behavior. Why have it when you can have the first look at it? Everybody's a little, you know, has a little trepidation of that. But that's the same with whether you're purchasing a house or any kind of investment. People tend to see participation as a catalyst for themselves. So creating that sense of urgency is a very key thing. And obviously we keep reiterating, following up with everybody, being able to put that personal touch, the genuineness of that agent to be able to make that connection is what's going to lead to their long-term business and the relationships they want to have. So that's also a very common sense approach to how we want to present ourselves and always be prepared, right? Always be early, always be on time, have everything in front of you, not scrambling or being defensive. It just goes as part of your brand and your reputation. So I think that's important. We've kind of covered everything. We've got purpose, we've got marketing, we've got a finger up. How do we invite? We've got how to spend, and we've got an excellent point coming up to wrap this up from Kelly Duncan-Smith. Kelly, go ahead.
One of the reasons to have a broker's open house too, because we all hit that point where the house has been listed, we got it on, we held back showings, we had the big open house. Well, now 30 days has gone by, and you're trying to explain to your people why they need a price change, that we've missed that market, just that little bit. So having a broker's open house and traipsing 25, 50 other professionals through, it's very important to have them write everything out in writing. And you do a simple sheet. What is your favorite part of the house? How did you like the inside? How did you like the outside? Any suggestions for making it more marketable? And what do you think of the price? And at that point, all of the agents are professionals. They know if it's been on for 30 days and you don't have offers on it, that it's either the people aren't letting you in or the house is overpriced, which is 99% of the problem. So at that point, now you can go back to the sellers and you can say, hey, geez, it's not just me and the buyers that think we need a price change. We just had 25 realtors through here who all think that the property is great. Or if you're trying to explain something to them that's uncomfortable, like the last 3 showings said it smelled like dog. Well, that's really uncomfortable conversation, although it's one that it's our obligation to have. So we say it to them and then they get mad at us. Well, it's a way to show them you need a price change. Your house smells like dog. It's not just me. There's 25 of us out there. Let's fix this problem. So just wanted to add that. Get it right
Cal,
so you can show them.
Kelly, I have an ionizer you can borrow if you need it, just for that same problem.
We do too.
I do believe
It's terrible.
I think Febreze is coming up with a Labrador scent, so it's going to be very nice. You know, if anybody really is looking for that to be the extra push off the cliff for the house. So no, those are great things. And you know, Dan, we appreciate you kind of, you know, participating and giving us what you used as an edge. And Hank has something else he'd like to add. Go ahead, Hank.
Yeah, absolutely. One more thing I want to add too, and this works for an open house or a broker's open house, and I've done this at a broker's open house, entertainment. I actually had Steely Pan. Yes, his name is Steely Pan, the Steel from Steely Dan. But he was a steel drummer, and he was very reasonable. I think it was like $200 for 3 hours, and he came out and played on the pool lanai at the Brokers Open.
Nice.
And it got everyone to stay. Now, we've done this also at a regular open house, and we actually had buyers stay longer because there was live entertainment out there. It was a beautiful, I want to say it was January, February, so the weather down here in Florida was 72, low humidity, perfect. So, and he was out there playing. And so I've used him probably 4 or 5 times, but some type of like live entertainment for either a broker's open or an open house. Don't be afraid to do either, especially if you have a fantastic like luxury listing. Do it, folks. I'm telling you what, it will make a huge difference in the amount of time that they spend there. And it also just helps the whole vibe, the whole ambiance of that broker's open or that open house. So live entertainment, keep that in your back pocket.
That is a great point. Dan, did you want to add something?
Hold on, let me unmute him.
There you go. Thank you. It's more of a question. as an entrepreneur, I'm thinking from the attraction standpoint. What do you use, or is that not a venue to? Is that just to create a relationship at that point, maybe with some people, or do you actually use that venue for a method of attraction to EXP?
I'll take that if you don't mind. So yeah, I mean, for us and our platform, yeah, sure, absolutely, attracting agents all the time. So Brokers Open could be used for that in different capacities. For us, that's just a good way to get in front of agents. This is another way. So, you know, at EXP, we have the very unique opportunity that not only are we listing homes and helping buyers find homes, but we're also, I believe, in the business of listing agents. So, yeah, it could be another attraction piece there to get in front of agents. Because here's the big thing, whether it's a buyer, a seller, or an agent, folks, we are in the social age, and it's all about the relationship. It really is, okay? Buyers and sellers don't care what company you work for. They really don't. They don't care what flag you fly. They care, how is Hank going to help me buy a home? How is Hank going to help me sell a home? How does Hank have a model of real estate that's going to help me earn more money or have a future for my family? You know, that's really what it's all about. And it's all about rapport and trust and having that relationship, I believe, at the end of the day. And again, it doesn't matter whether it's a buyer, seller, or agent. I truly believe that. So does that answer your question, Dan? Any thoughts, Tracy?
Yes, but it goes back to the performances, and what we've done is we've reached out to the local art schools in the area, the charter schools who offer performing arts as electives, and we've invited the kids from the high schools and the junior highs to come and perform.
That's so
So
cool.
talk about building community. That brings their parents there, it brings their grandparents there, it brings their cousins and their third cousins there. So, and I'll tell you, these kids are talented. They're very, very talented. So when you are offering that type of an opportunity to them, and somebody who might be at the open house sees them, there's a ton of opportunity for those kids to take that elsewhere too. So the parents in the schools understand the value of what we're providing to them by allowing them to do that and by inviting them there. And again, the talent is phenomenal. And when you see a kid performing as an adult, your heart immediately goes out to them, no matter your age or your gender. You're like, this kid rocks. So that's another way that we really try to build community and keep our brand going and keep showing that we truly are community based.
Perfect. I'm going to wrap it up here because we're just getting close to our 30-minute time limit, and that's what we want to do. We want to start off your Wednesday with some good nuggets.
Kelly's got a final thought. Let me unmute her.
We've got 30 seconds, Kel. Go ahead.
The street goes both ways. You not only have Brokers Open House, have enough respect for other brokers to go to theirs as well.
Boom. Perfect final thought.
Final thought.
It is in 8 seconds. I love that. She is tight on her time. So, a couple things, people. We do this every Wednesday at 9 a.m. It's to kick off your middle of the week with Pre-K to Mastery. We've got a lot of great topics today. There's a lot of great tips, good nuggets, as Hank would say. And this will be recorded. Obviously, you can check the YouTube page out, the Facebook page. Hank and I are on tour. We're going to be up in the Connecticut and Massachusetts area, November 7th and 8th. We'd love to meet with people. We do a lunch and learn up there. There's going to be a lot of great stuff to share with our partners, Kelly and Tracy and Dan. And that's the fun of this, that we are.
Don't forget Betty. Don't forget Betty.
Oh, and Buddy, of course. Betty.
Betty.
Sorry
And
about
Trish.
that, Betty.
And Trish
Absolutely right. So we've got everybody covered in the regional area and also on the national level, and that's the fun of this. So we've got events coming up the first week of December. Our NET conference, that's going to be great. We'll mention it every week. We want everybody coming to that, even if you're out of state. It's going to be a fun day of network, education, and technology. So with that, I will thank our panelists. I'll thank the participants. And have a great Wednesday. Have a great week. Go out there and crush it. Thanks, ladies. Thanks, Hank. Thanks, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks.
Take care.